XCR375, kind of doing a follow-up video to the one I did earlier today of SHTF China stock market crash. Uh, uh, Quite an interesting day. So we ended up going down to our bank here after work and pulling out our uh, money from the bank, and got to chit-chatting with the teller and asked how much we could withdraw per day from our credit union, and she said it's $5,000 a day because they don't carry a whole lot of cash and stuff on hand for large amount withdrawals. I'm like, oh really? And I kind of asked her, why is that? And she said, well, for big, large withdrawals, we like to have the customer call in a couple of days ahead so we can order more cash. I'm like, oh, okay. And I found out that that is a Fed policy. Federal Credit Union, Federal Bank. So it's one of their banking policies. Just more control. And on top of it, we were polite. They didn't bother asking us any questions of why we're pulling our money out. But what was interesting is that there was another lady next to us at the other window, and she was pulling out a large amount of cash. And the guy in front of us wanted to pull out $10,000 out of his savings account, and he wanted it in cash. And they told him the same thing, that they could only do $5,000 in cash, a day. And it was just quite interesting. So you could tell people were getting the hint and clue about what was going on over in China. And I'll put some links here down at the bottom of this, and also how China's market really affected our New York Stock Exchange. And I'll put a link there also. And quite interesting. Let's see, what else in the news today is the the U.S. Mint to suspend sale of silver eagles. Demand for physical silver is exploding. Yeah, no kidding, because everybody knows that the paper dollar is not worth much more than toilet paper at the moment. Just a quick little article I'll read here. Let's see, I'll put a link to this also. As Greece threatens to unravel the European Union experiment and China's stock markets crash into an abyss, investors around the world are reportedly divesting themselves of traditional stocks and looking for alternative investments to protect their wealth. This includes Bitcoin. The digital cryptocurrency has seen a significant rise in price since last week, when it was reported that Greece citizens were using it as a store of value rather than keeping money in their personal bank accounts. Don't blame the Greeks for that, because the banks are not open. Precious metals, of course, are another popular alternative, though. If you were looking to the price of silver today, you'd think that demands for metal is collapsing. Anyway, I'll put the link to that article too in the thing. So quite a day so far. Then another article I read here, and it's quite interesting, and I'll put this quote also down below in the description. One person here commented on one of the forums that I keep an eye on. After the computer systems of 3 major U.S. companies, including the super important New York Stock Exchange, went down today, he went and found some quotes from the movie Live Free, Die Hard. And basically, Matt Farrell, the computer genius in the movie, says it's a fire sale. John McClane goes, what? Then Matt Farrell goes, it's a fire sale. Deputy Director Miguel Bowman, hey, we don't know that yet. Taylor, yeah, it's a myth anyway, it can't be done. Matt Farrell, oh, it's a myth, really. Please tell me she's only here for show and she's actually not in charge of anything. John McClane, hey, what's a fire sale? Matt Farrell, it's a three-step systematic attack on the entire national infrastructure. Okay, step 1, take out the transportation. Step 2, financial base and telecoms. Step 3, you get rid of all the utilities, gas, water, electric, nuclear. Pretty much anything that runs by computers, which today is almost everything. So that's why they call it a fire sale, because everything must go. So it's an interesting quote from that movie. I'll copy and paste that in too, so you guys can kind of take a look at that. So they're blaming it on a technical glitch for the New York Stock Exchange taking a dive. Well, the Chinese market took a big dive. Then minutes later, the U.S. Stock Exchange took a huge dive too. So it's either a real serious cyber attack which triggered everything, or funds, or it just a consequence of it, of the Chinese market crashing. Looks like the European leaders are beating up the Prime Minister of Greece pretty good over in Parliament. And he's saying that everybody needs to kind of work together, the Greece PM. And he said that that Greece had been used as an austerity laboratory for the rest of Europe over the past 5 years. So pretty much, if you have money in the bank, I would get it out of the bank and store it in a safe place at your house so it's in your possession. And also at the same time, if it's a while back, but the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the cash in your bank account is really not your cash. I'm going to put a link to that too. I'm going to find that case. That's what I was typing in there a second ago, but it'll take too much time to research it. So anyway, lots of strange stuff going on. It's kind of calmed down, but kind of waiting to see what the rest of the week holds here with the Chinese market, if it's going to open tomorrow or if it's going to go up and then severely tank, and see what everything else follows suit. Anyway, I found that very interesting, what the teller at my credit union was telling me, that they don't keep a whole lot of cash on hand and that they would have to order cash if people started pulling out large sums of money. And also the $5,000 limit a day per person, or I should say per account. So that is definitely true. Just really weird, wacky stuff going on right now. Anyway, XCR signing off.